Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the things we did not get to during the course of the show today. I am fresh back off of my vacation, so is Betty Rock. Gavin been holding down the fort while we were gone. Not getting much sleep, I hear. Bennett's on a run lately.
Yeah, no, he's struggling with the nights, and he tends to sleep well for a little bit at the beginning, and you're like, oh, there's hope.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up for, 11, midnight, 1 o'clock bottle, and then he does not want to go back down. Like,
that's
he is
hard.
just he's a little active kid, and he's strong, so he gets out of his swaddle. So we're gonna look at like sleep sacks here at some point, or just
stapling him down,
or just
anything.
Just let him go. It's funny though, because I think it's a lot harder for Haley because the bassinet's right next to her, and you just hear him go. Like you hear him pushing himself out of that thing. And you're like, no, just
stop it, please.
Just sleep.
I know, because when my cat won't stop meowing, I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not comparing my cat to your kid.
You sound like me if I were talking to a friend of mine with a kid.
Yeah,
my cat does
you've been through it, though.
I've been through what you've been through. I've been through all those.
You know what it's like.
But like when my cat won't stop meowing, like you're saying, making that noise, like you hear him. My cat, I can kick off the bed.
Yes.
And I can be like, stop it. And I can throw a pillow at it, until it's like, okay, I'm going to calm down.
And refer it to an it.
When she's meowing at 2 o'clock in the morning and nonstop, it's an it. Yeah. But you cannot do that with your kid.
No.
You have to be very sweet and be
patient,
gentle.
Yo. And I will say that I'm finding that it's when it's 2 in the morning and you're trying to like get him to calm down and he just he's just like crying. The pacifier doesn't work. Like I get why they have to tell you not to shake them.
Oh, for sure. He's like, just stop.
You're mad.
Yeah.
You're so mad because
none of it makes sense.
You're tired. You just want to get them back down.
Yeah. Because you need to sleep.
Because you need to sleep. And
it's bad.
Don't know that. They don't know what they're doing. All they know is, and I was someone put it in a good perspective for me the other day where it's like, you've been in this womb this whole time. Like everything you need is right there. And then you're out in this world. And then you feel hunger for the first time.
Right.
Like we feel hunger, just grab the chips and go. And he's sitting there like that's the only way that he can communicate. I'm like, I get that.
Right.
But it's tiring.
Yeah. And when you cry about being hungry, no one does anything. I get it. Like Betty, when she gets hangry, like that's it. Oh my gosh, we have an infant. we know what it's like being parents, right, Gavin?
That's right. Trained me for it.
I just got back from Hawaii, and
now that we've talked about how bad your life is,
let's
juxtapose
that.
Man, again,
mine is.
he's earned the.
I felt bad for you.
It.
Yeah, I've already been through what he's been through, so I paid my dues.
I got 30 years before I'll be,
I paid
an
my
empty
dues.
nester.
And I love it now. But yeah, so I got back, had a really good vacation, a good break. It was fun. It was good to get away. My wife got sick, unfortunately. She was on the plane. We were flying out, and there's a lady behind us hacking. And Marty's like,
boo.
I'm going to get sick. I know I'm going to get sick. I'm like, you're going to get yourself sick if you think like that. And sure enough, 2.5, 3 days later, Marty gets sick. And she is not feeling good. She had one day that was rough on her and went to bed like at 6 in paradise, and didn't want to do anything. I totally get it. Like, trying to heal so that we can go and finish up the vacation as best we can. But then I just thought the irony was because she was like so mad at this lady for being on the plane sick. And then you're like, we get on the plane. I'm like, you're doing the same thing. Like literally, you are doing the exact same thing. You're trying so hard not to cough. And when you get into she gets hot. And the plane was hot, and when she gets hot, her coughing fit gets really bad. There's a point where I rang the flight attendant button, and I'm like, hey, is it too late to be resat? This lady is coughing. I don't want to get sick. I need another seat, please. I just didn't want to be known that I was with her.
Or you pulled what you did with me, and you're like, fill my neck.
Yeah.
It's so cold in here.
It was.
Fill my neck.
I got to tell you, like, I felt bad for her because it's never fun being sick on a plane because you try not to cough or sneeze, and especially like right around COVID too. Like if you had the slightest cough, like you get on a plane and COVID, everyone went nuts. But she didn't. Like Marty didn't have a face mask and wasn't wearing a face mask, and so she's trying to cough into her sleeve and everything, and I felt bad for her. It was not a great way to end our vacation. But I did learn something there that I'm pretty happy about. The Mahu Mahu tattoo is back on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here's why.
I never
You were
knew it was off.
inspired.
Okay. Well, it definitely wasn't going to get it there. Okay, so here's the deal. If you've missed any of this from the Aftercast before, Betty loves to tell this story to anyone with tattoos that comes in. But my daughter and my family has this thing where we say mahu mahu when we're hanging up the phone
Mahu,
or
mahu.
telling each other goodbye or whatever. And because it's when Haley was little, she would blow a kiss and she would make this sound. She would mahu mahu, and like that was what she did.
Precious.
Adorable.
Adorable.
So
Precious.
Tattooable.
we've talked about that, and I was like, yeah, I want to get a tattoo of that. And so one day we were talking about it on the show, and this guy called. He goes, hey, you might not want to do that, or you might want to look into it. Why? So I look into it online, and mahu is like a term for a homosexual or a derogatory term. And so especially in Hawaiian. Right. And so in Hawaiian. And so especially if you're in Hawaii, not a great place to have that posted all over your body in the lazy river. So I'm like, oh man, I hate that something so pure and innocent could be ruined.
Yes,
by
I
that.
hate it for you.
They had it first.
Well, I don't know. So
I had to think.
I'm on this ATV tour. Okay, so we go on this ATV tour, and we have two guides, and they're younger girls, and they were awesome. Like I tipped them well. They made it fun. I was asking them all about their Hawaiian culture because this one girl knew a lot about it, and I'm like, hey, what is like the origin story for Hawaiians, like, because Christianity has our Bible and our story and how we came to be, but Hawaii has a whole different thing. And they're like, yeah, the first Hawaiian and this God and all this other stuff. So I'm always fascinated by that kind of stuff. And so she knew a lot of stuff, and she's straight up legit Hawaiian. And so we finished the tour. I tip her out, and I was getting ready to leave, and I said, I have to ask you a question, and it's going to sound really weird and really out of left
field.
field.
Keep it just between us.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to ask you this.
Don't tell anyone I asked.
And the
you.
only reason I'm asking this is not because I think anything of you, but because I think you're like the coolest Hawaiian person I've met that I feel that I could ask this to. Okay, so I said the term mahu, and she goes. Just looks at me. I'm like,
oh, did she?
Oh yeah, she just looks at me. I said that is a term for, and she goes, yes, for gay, in Hawaiian. I said, dadgummit. I said, and I explained to her the story about the tattoo, and she goes, oh, but that's so sweet. I mean, that's something to you, and it's just Hawaiian, and it's not very prevalent. I said, I know, right? That was my argument too. And she goes, well, how do you spell it? And I said, M-A-H-O-O. Yeah, M-A-H-O-O. Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, well, you're good. They spell it M-A-H-U. And then she called her friend over. Hey, M-A-H-U. This guy's asking. I'm like, keep it down. Like, let's put this on the DL here.
Mahu guy over here.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just have to make sure you get the spelling right.
Right. So she had told me. So I have. The internet was said differently, but I have two Hawaiians who have told me that it's M-A-H-U is the way they spell it, and so I should be in the clear.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Seems risky to me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man!
But again, I still don't want to let something get taken away.
Yeah. Well, and over here too. Like,
no one knows Hawaiian culture.
If you're not going to Hawaii anytime soon,
I might
get it somewhere you can cover if you ever go back. But
yeah, like here, I might have to explain that to one person in my life that happens to be of Hawaiian descent.
Okay, it does look like how they spell it is M-A-H-U.
Yes, and so good because the first time I typed it up, I spelled it the way we spell it, and it showed up.
Yes,
and so for me, I'm like, okay, that's good enough.
Yeah,
totally.
Betty Rock wants me to get this so badly because then every time any artist comes in,
what's it gonna look like?
I don't know. I got to figure that out. I told Marty I should get
lower back tattoo.
Maui's hook from
cool.
Moana and have it in there, and she's like, no.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, and so I got to figure out because I don't want it to have any
and
tie
getting
to
it too, right?
Yeah,
all three of you get
originally, no, Marty won't.
Oh,
originally, we had each written it out in our writing, and I was just going to get it like in Haley's handwriting, in like Haley and Marty's handwriting. And so I thought, okay, that would be good, but that's pretty plain. So I'd really like to have something that is.
Well, and I think I told
more
you
elaborate.
this, and it's changed my perspective on tattoos since I heard it. But I was with a friend of mine, and she was going to get a tattoo, and she told him what she wanted, and pretty much it was just words, but he was like, no one is going to sit there and read what is on your body.
Right.
You need to come up with a way to signify what you want to.
Boy, I don't want to do that for Mahu. I don't need an image of that.
Let me do it. Okay? But it does make sense because you do see people that pretty much have a chapter of a book,
right,
on them. It's like no one's going to, but he was talking about how you need to be more creative and come up with some way to put that in picture form.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But then I'm like, it's so specific. I don't know how I could do that. And so, like, I'd like to come up with something and then maybe have the Mahu inside of it just written, kind of
covered up,
hidden in there. Yeah.
Hidden is the key word. Yes, hidden.
I've got a closet. I'm going to get tired.
You won't ever want to hang out with me outside of this place because if we go anywhere, once you get that, I'll be like, hey, I love that Mahu tattoo you got there.
Interesting story. In Hawaii, did you know, like, you would sell me out every time.
I would.
Oh, yeah.
How would you tell, you would just explain, this is just, like, we made, like, I don't know if you would owe people an explanation, though. Oh,
No.
it's just a thing with my family.
It's a thing that my family
will.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will because he's afraid that they actually know the meaning.
No,
behind
I
Mahu.
definitely wouldn't bring it up. No, if somebody
You're
then
like,
was
well,
like,
it's not.
oh, yeah, no, if somebody was like, if I'm okay, let me do this. If I'm talking to Jeremy Camp about tattoos, no, I'll be like, yeah, this is something special my daughter used to say. If I'm talking to Don Ho's descendants, then I will probably explain it, Oh, but anyway, so had a really good time in Hawaii. We talked a little bit about this on the show earlier. I actually got homework from Hawaii. I went to buy a little piece of wood at a ukulele factory so I could make a pen, and the guy liked my pens when I showed them to him, and so now I'm making 5 pens for them.
But that'll make you
back
happy.
to Hawaii?
To send back to
Yeah,
them.
but that'll make you
cool.
happy.
Yeah. I thought it was cool because they're a real well-known family in, like, Hawaiian culture because they'd been making ukuleles for, like, over 100 years. And the family was so
What's the
nice.
name?
Kamaka. Kamaka. They're so
The
nice.
$2,500 ukulele. People,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's really expensive. And so the fact that they wanted me to make something for them, and he traded me a bunch of wood so I could make other pens in the future for him, I just thought it was a real cool connection from going as a tourist on this tour to being like, oh, yeah, we share something in common, like we like woodworking.
Yeah,
We could
getting to
talk
go
on that
deeper.
level.
Yeah.
And the fact that he gave me this wood, and I'm going to make stuff for him, which I started working on it yesterday because I don't want to be that tourist that's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then never do it, And I got I made sure Marty got their email so we could send them like a tracking number so they know, okay, he actually followed through. Because I don't ever want to be seen as someone who's not a man of their word. Yeah, it's a big deal to me.
Right.
My word means something to me. And it doesn't mean that to any other people in
And
this
you want to
day
be a
and
man
age.
of your word, even if you write that word on your arm.
That's right, man of my word.
Man of your word. Mahu.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Betty Rock had an exciting thing. A lot of people watch paint dry. Betty watched Rock watched Asphalt Cure.
Yeah, they had to repave
Exciting.
our parking lot at the place I live at, and so had to move my car across the street, which was interesting. And then I went to fish camp with my parents. That was great. My best friend's mom, she ended up in the hospital, so I went and sat with them for 2 days.
That's nice of you to do that.
And I did Meals on Wheels with my
I love
friend
that you're
Dina.
doing that. Dan, you don't take any, do you? Because I know you like to
Take
eat.
any of the food?
Yeah.
No.
You're like,
I don't know if I'd
the
blame
food
you.
is the food good? Like, do they do them right?
It smells good.
Yeah. Oh, so it's hot food.
Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Some of it is hot and some of it is cold. It
Hands.
looks like they have their own little machine where you put it in the kind of like a TV dinner,
Yeah.
and then it puts the film over it, like
okay.
the plastic film, so that
Oh.
they can just put it in the microwave and
Oh, nice.
all of that.
Oh, cool. For some reason, I thought it was like giving them canned food and stuff.
No.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is the thing she does weekly. She does it every Thursday. But I decided to go with her since you were away, and I was like, I'll just go that Thursday. So I
Nice.
did that. And that's about it.
There you
Slept.
go.
It was great. And I
Yeah.
only got maybe 3 hours of sleep last night. But I'm not the one yawning. The one you're hearing yawn in the
It's
background,
Gavin.
that's
yeah.
Gavin.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do a couple things here before we get out of here. My small group starts again tonight. And,
and he's so excited about it.
Dive back into your faith.
Community.
He's super stoked.
Accountability.
I mean, he wishes it
I
was
love
all year
the
round.
Bible.
Yeah, I hate when we have to take breaks. So I brought this story up from my wife. A Minnesota man gets 33 years for fatally stabbing his wife at Bible study.
No,
I'm not making it up.
Where is that? Florida?
That is a great question.
Florida man.
No, Minnesota. That's why I said a Minnesota man.
Yeah.
But I could see
I missed
missing
it.
that. No, I understand that. It was weird. He said he takes full responsibility for it, but he was like, I was so high, I don't really remember anything. I know,
Small
right?
group.
Betty's face. I know, I'm like, small.
That's wild.
That's a small group I'd like to be in.
Oh
like,
my
that's one
gosh.
that seems like it's interesting.
Talk about a story.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I mean, we're making light of that, but that was, a horrible situation.
That's awful.
Like to see that, but yeah, like this is a guy that probably needed small group, and did not do the work. He didn't do the homework.
It's not funny.
I know.
Stop.
It's
I
not,
know. But
not funny.
I meant to send this to Marty earlier, just like to let her know. Anyway, this is another sad story. I'm gonna skip that one.
You want me to do mine?
2 seconds. Oh, did you see this? This was interesting to me.
Yeah.
There was a spacewalk done by a novice, by a billionaire who went up with Elon Musk's SpaceX company and
them.
actually got out of the capsule and did a 2-hour spacewalk.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like the fact that they're getting that good at this and they're not NASA. Because remember when NASA controlled the moon and everything? And now you've
Supposedly.
got Elon Musk being
Yeah,
like, hey, we can do this too. And like we're using private rockets to send stuff up and get people off of the space station more so than even NASA.
Don't
which
see
is
Jeff
crazy.
Bezos doing that.
No, he's got to get on that. But yeah, so they had I guess they had 4 people or so on this trip. And so this guy's like a tech billionaire. And so he paid to go and he got to test the suits and get out of the spaceship. I guess they had to open the whole space. Like everybody had to be depressurized.
Nope.
And more than just he walked, but like he was get this, 264th person to do a spacewalk.
See, that's an insane amount of people.
That seemed high to me,
Did
right?
we just jump from like 10 to 200?
Yeah, I would have thought that it
did
was
that happen?
literally like 26 people have ever walked in space. But apparently between us and Russians and other people that are at the space station, that 264 people have actually done that, which is really kind of crazy. And then they made it back to Earth safely. And I'm always interested. I love space stuff, and I'm just always interested at when I probably won't be alive to see it, sadly, but when it becomes super normal to be able to maybe not even go to space, but to do the arch where you go to the top of the atmosphere. And when you do that and you go that high arch, it makes going from like Florida to California a 40-minute thing. Like, so it will revolutionize, travel either just inside the states and cross country or out of the country. Can you imagine going to Europe in like an hour and a half or something like that? Like, how amazing would that
That'd be awesome.
Because I think the Concorde, when it was flying, because it was supersonic, when it was flying, I think it was a 4-hour trip to Europe. So like it cut an 8-hour flight in half, basically. And so, like, to get to this point with travel, I think that would be amazing. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to see that or not. I'm going to be that old guy that one day that's like, back in my day, I can't believe we have these new things. Can you think of the people that lived at the turn of the century? What they've seen. Someone that's like 100 years old, the things they've seen is amazing. I don't think we in our life will see that kind of a jump because we kind of already have somewhat driving cars. So now you'll have driving cars and it's not a big leap. But going from horses to cars is a big leap, So I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of leap again. But maybe we will, like all of a sudden, like teleportation. Like how crazy would that be? I've always loved that concept. Would that be cool if we could do that? I don't know. Anyway, Betty Rock, what do you got?
Okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's your turn.
So this year's Nobel Prize winner winners were announced, and I just wanted to go over a couple of the things that these people who won a prize for their studies, what they were actually studying, and it gives you hope for your weird kid. Like if your kid is really weird and you're like, ooh, I don't know about them. No. They could be a Nobel Prize winner. Okay, so a team in Amsterdam, they did a study on coin flipping and whether or not is it 50-50.
Is it?
Well, it turns out coins are slightly more likely to land on the same side they started on.
Okay, that's good to know.
So it's not really
so if
up
you
to chance.
So like if it's 50.1 to 49.9, then look at whoever is getting ready to flip the coin, look at what side it's on and go with that thing. And
it makes you wonder, will they change things like in the football arena? Will they not do a coin flip anymore? They did 350,000 coin flips and found it's not 50-50.
Interesting, but that will change
Got a
how
Nobel Prize.
I know, but that'll change how I call a flip in the future.
It doesn't feel like a Nobel Prize worthy.
No, it's not
so
that
weird.
worthy, but it's interesting.
Come on.
This year's Peace Prize went to a study that looked at whether you could put pigeons inside of missiles to help guide them.
What?
How is that peaceful?
Can we stop that? Come on.
That is odd.
So you put a pigeon in a missile,
Yeah.
and how would that?
Oh, the pigeon's not getting out.
Well, I'm saying how would that guide it though?
I
It's
have
just
no
inside the
idea.
missile.
Like, the homing pigeon. Like,
But think about that study.
Yeah. Think about the demented person that came up with that. Okay, I got an idea. Jenkins, what do you got? Let's spitball this. Well, homing pigeons are good at finding their way home. How about we put one in a missile?
Crazy. The Botany Prize went to a study that found some plants will imitate the shape of fake plastic plants if you put them next to each other.
What?
Posers.
So if you put a real plant next to a fake one, maybe you don't have a really good green thumb and you want your real plant to look like a fake one, put it next to a fake one, it's going to try and copy it.
That's weird.
They won a prize. The Anatomy Prize went to a study that looked at the direction your hair swirls in and whether it's affected by the hemisphere you're born in. Kind of like when you flush the toilet and they say it goes in one way and then goes in another. So
I was at the equator and this is where it's supposed to, the water's supposed to go one way if you're on this side of the equator and one way if you're on the other side of the equator. So we go to the equator. We're actually at the equator. We're checking it with our phones and it's like 0 degrees. Zach and I were there and this is so cool. And Zach's like a science nerd too. And so we found a guy and we had to pay him obviously because it's a tourist trap at the equator. And they do this experiment where they put a flower in this pan on this side of the equator, and then on the other side they put a flower, and it spins in opposite directions. I was so what?
I bet they have magnets.
Then somebody told you. Then I read online oh, it's a scam. I'm like, what?
Of course.
And there's Wally. Wow!
It was so believable, man. And he let me do it too. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think I got scammed, but it was worth it.
And then finally, the Physics Prize went to a group of guys who studied they looked at the swimming abilities of a dead trout.
A dead trout?
A dead trout. So they took a dead fish and studied its swimming abilities.
Sometimes they hold on for a second.
No,
it's like how
really?
well, it's kind of like how, there's chickens, if they get their head cut off,
they still run.
Did you
mine is
know,
that,
on that note, I don't remember where it is. Was it my dad telling me this, or was it you, Wally? I don't remember. But there's something about a fair that's based off of a chicken that got its head cut off.
It's in Colorado.
Yeah.
Headless Henry or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lived for
Headless
weeks
chicken
without
festival.
a head.
Really?
Mike the Headless Chicken. Yeah. It's in Fruita, Colorado.
I gotta go. They sell T-shirts and everything. I'm all in.
You need that shirt or that hat.
Go.
I can see one.
They won't sell hats because it's disrespectful because he had no head.
Poor Henry. Aw. But anyways, all that to say, if you want to win a Nobel Prize, study something stupid, and you might just be there.
The amount of these things that sound like they would apply to this actual, to progress the world, it's low.
I think the things that that drive me crazier though are when you see these kind of studies and these kind of things that go on and they're government funded. That's the stuff that drives me nuts, is when millions upon millions of tax dollars
money
go to that kind of stuff. Oh, it sends me through the roof. But, I mean, and it doesn't matter what administration is in there. Everybody has their projects, and they pad them with things to make money. It's crazy. Hey, do you have birthdays?
Hey, I do. These are all late, so we apologize.
That's
but
our
here
fault.
we go. Logan to Reagan, my epically epic, radical, rad, totally cool sister, turning
Nice.
24. Said she is a missionary in Northern Africa, reaching
wow.
people for Jesus.
Good for her.
I miss the crap out of her.
Okay.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. There are certain things like that. Like I don't give a crud about you. It's like I wouldn't give a crud about you. I do give, or I could care less. When people say I could care less, well, wait, do you care less, or you could
I
care?
couldn't care less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He said, tell her if Josiah, her new boyfriend, messes up, her little brother is flying to Africa and squaring up.
Ah, oh, I like that.
Interesting.
Squaring up, that's a good term.
Squaring up. Jeremy wants to wish Noah a happy belated birthday. Said, loving taking photos and making videos. He's a caring person and an awesome friend. Joe, a.k.a. S-O-G, a.k.a. Papa, pronounced Pa.
With the pause?
I'm not really sure. P-A-A, P-A-A,
Papa.
Papa. Addison, a.k.a. Addie, a.k.a.
Oh, wow.
Addie Bo Batty.
Maddie, okay.
Oh, I like that.
Turning 18 years old, is a potty and has
Nice.
listened to Wally and Betty since the All Access days in 08. Ooh,
That is a
makes you feel
long
old.
time ago.
We love Wally. Pray for Betty daily. Aw, and celebrate with Caleb. Oh, but they spell it I-B.
What?
C-A-L-I-B.
Caleb?
Khalib.
Caleb. Interesting.
That's a weird name.
You
Addie
should have named
loves-
your kid Khalib.
Oh, yeah. And Grandma and Grandpa want to wish their grandson Nehemiah.
Okay.
Naheem?
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah.
Ne-
Yeah, let me see.
Oh, no,
Like
you're
the
right.
Bible? Oh my gosh.
Nehemiah.
Do we have another Guillermo situation?
No, I see it now.
Come on, you see
I
that?
see it
You see that
now.
name what, like once a year if you open the Bible into that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Nehemiah.
Yeah, I cannot
Nehi-
put it together.
Nehi-
Anyways,
What language is this?
Nehi is our oldest grandson. He's turning 10 years old. He loves Jesus, football, and an avid Detroit Lions fan.
So good.
Would you like a simple question or a more in-depth question?
Let's go simple.
Simple? Okay. If you could be a part of one TV family, who would it be? I can tell you right here and right now.
I'm trying to think because I'm thinking of
I've got
older
it.
shows. Okay, go ahead.
Louis.
Oh,
What would your name be?
I don't know. Gavin.
Yeah,
Gavin. Gavin. I don't know.
that's funny.
Gavin.
That
That
Gabby.
that sounds girly.
I like that.
What would you be?
Me?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of
The
old
A-Team?
TGIF stories, you know, or shows like the cheesy ones, like Beyond Full House, because everybody all their problems were so small, but they thought they were really big. Probably, the Brady Bunch. I'd like to be on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A broken family that comes together.
yeah, exactly, and
And they have a maid.
yeah, totally great. And then. I'd like to not be Cousin Oliver, though, because they brought Cousin Oliver on and ruined that show.
He was the worst.
Yeah, he was. So, yeah, the Brady Bunch. I'd love to get that wisdom from Mike Brady.
Would you be one of the sons, or would you be like a random family friend?
I'd be an
or-
adopted son. I'd be like...
An adopted son.
yeah.
On the mom's side or the dad's side?
on the mom side.
Oh, so she has the 3 girls.
Yeah, and
she has
decided-
3 lovely daughters and 1 ugly son.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly it. They adopted him. We don't talk about him. But he's here, so put an extra box on the side for the opening credits.
No, they just forget your box,
Yeah.
so they put the logo on.
Yeah. What about you?
I would go with the Waltons.
Oh, that's so you.
I
that?
think that would be, it was back in the early 70s.
Yeah, it is
maybe?
a homespun show.
So it was about a
Yeah,
family.
I want to see how you explain this to
It's
him.
about a family who lives through the Depression
Okay.
in the Carolinas, I think. I could be wrong, but it's a bunch of siblings. And at the end of the show, they always
Good night,
say,
John Boy.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night.
Good night,
Good
Mary
dog.
Sue. Yeah, they have a picture of the house and,
And it was
everyone's
just simple.
It was wholesome.
All they did was sit around the radio with their grandparents and
They worked like at a
shaking
farm.
his
That
head.
sounds so boring.
Yeah.
Come on now.
No, I mean, yeah, there's no electricity, but they might have had electricity.
I mean, you have to.
I'm not going
rotate
to
the
like
TV.
Little House in the Prairie.
They didn't have
type
TV.
Power-
things.
well, yeah, good point.
They just had the radio.
They were driving like Model T cars, like cars from the 30s.
They're
I
yeah, they
guess.
wearing,
walk
like,
around around barefoot.
They're all wearing overalls.
Yeah, that really.
Glasses.
John Boy Walton had that big mole on his face.
Bless him.
Take him out.
What was that guy's name?
Take him
The
out.
actor.
John Boy.
No, the actor.
Because he was also in It, and he had a rat tail. Do you remember that?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, I do remember that.
He was in the original.
Yes, it.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Richard Thomas.
Yes. Now,
Still
I would
alive.
love to. Betty Rock, see if you can go back and find the plot of one show, like one Walton's episode. So, like, just search, like, plot and episode of Walton.
Episode plot.
Because I'm curious. I remember the show vaguely. I used to watch it with my family as well. And the only thing I remember was one time, like, their truck broke down. And, like, they had to get their truck fixed. And they had to get something to market or whatever. Like, yeah, like, it was not, like, this big deal type show. Like, what was a typical episode?
Okay, so this one. So John Boy is coaxed into preaching a sermon while Reverend Fordwick is away on his honeymoon. Meanwhile,
there's a
Olivia teaches school for Miss Fordwick. Okay. Another one.
That was the whole episode?
Yep.
Let's see. If I go look up the YouTube.
Wait a minute. Is this season 1? Let's see. Seasons. Okay. Oh. A traveling carnival comes to Walton's Mountain, but the children choose to sacrifice the money they have saved for it so that Grandma can replace her broken glasses.
Now you got something.
When the troupe becomes stranded by their dishonest ringmaster, John and Olivia allow them to stay temporarily in their barn, and the family is rewarded with a private show. Now that is awesome.
So good.
Okay. Okay, Gavin, are you listening?
No, I was watching. I'm trying to watch
No,
it.
listen.
It looked
Season 1, episode
awful.
3 is so sad.
I want to
It gets you right in your heart, okay? Let me tell you what it's called. It's called The Calf, okay? Are you listening?
Is this like an old Yeller story?
Listen. The Waltons' cow gives birth to a bull calf, which John decides, that's the dad, must be sold for truck repair money, much to his children's disappointment because they named it. Stop it. Then we can buy it. He can buy it back after he learns the man he sold it to plans to butcher it.
Well, of course. What do you think he was getting it for?
Well, no, because you're going to get milk and stuff. But what they don't put
Not
in
from
the
a
synopsis.
bull calf.
Listen, what they don't put in the synopsis is that the mom cow is always out in the barn and she's just like they can't sleep because she's just sad because they separated her. Yeah, think about Bennett being taken away.
Some nights when you're still wanting sleep, you like would be like, I would trade him.
Anyways, I would go with the Waltons.
Okay, well that's
they
a good
were.
one.
Yeah, it was 72 to 81. Wow.
Wow. That's a good run for having a show about nothing, you know? They fooled everybody for a lot of years.
Say the year, like 9 years. Did you?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Crazy.
My dad has them all on DVD.
There you go. That
Not
checks out too.
VHS.
All right, that's going to do it for your Aftercast, and thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.